Hello everyone, and welcome to the 4th annual Bazaymas, where we look back on the events of the year, but there were no videos this year. So I decided that for this Bazaymas, we would look back on what I did instead of making videos, playing video games. 2023 might have been the best and the worst year in gaming. Some of the highest rated games of all time were released within a couple of months of each other, but also extremely hyped games ended up crashing and burning. I was insanely excited for Jedi Survivor, but it launched terribly. I was excited for Redfall, but it was just bad. I tried playing Starfield, but the moment I got into space, I had no idea where to go. In the intro, I heard these people talking about a place called Neon that sounded cool, but how do I find this interesting place amongst thousands of empty planets? I started playing Destiny 2 in what might have been the worst year ever for the game. Minecraft continued its track record of underperforming spin-offs, but of the one game I played of Minecraft Legends, it seemed like it had good mechanics, but no one stuck around to learn them. Lethal Company proved that any game with proximity chat is a 10 out of 10. Super Mario Bros. Wonder finally freed us of the 10-year curse that was the new Super Mario Bros. Series. I finally played Undertale, and it turns out a game that's called one of the best games of all time is actually pretty good. But now let's get into the really good stuff. Only Up is probably the worst designed game in my library. It doesn't have a save feature, so anytime you close the game, it sends you all the way back to the beginning. It was called out for stealing assets, shilling an NFT project, and eventually got completely removed from Steam. But that doesn't take away from the sheer joy I had when I finally beat this stupidly hard game. I mean, it's a Zelda game, it has to make it on the list. I'm unable to like 90% of fighting games because most of them require you to memorize 100 different button combos and then 28 move combos. Your only move as Hustle is able to make a really fun fighting game that anyone can play by making it turn-based. 4 characters, each with distinct playstyles, abilities, and moves that make you think about the best way to counter or attack. You're also able to see a prediction of your next move, allowing you to basically make your own unique combos on the fly. And at the end, you're left with this beautiful 20-second replay of a 20-minute match. I love roguelike deck builders. I put a fresh 70 hours into Slay the Spire this year, and I have countless hours in Inscription. So when I found Wild Frost, I was sucked in. It brings so many new mechanics to the genre, allowing for so many different unique builds. A wide variety of creature cards, different charms give different effects to each of your cards, like Darkness doubles damage received, and Ice blocks negate all damage. A perfect synergy of mechanics that keeps you in a flow zone for hours. I've always wanted to play a good Avatar game, but they've never really been able to make a good one. Then Crosscode comes in. Each of its 4 combat styles is so distinct. Fire is high damage, Ice is defensive, Shock gives speed, and Waves allow you to do high damage from a distance. You have 4 basic mechanics in combat: attack, shield, dash, and spheres. You can also power up each of these attacks, and they will change depending on the element. It leads to a combat system where you need to adapt on the fly and swap playsets every second. The game brings you to many new environments and has a story I was actually pretty invested in. Overall, Crosscode is a must-play game for any action-adventure fans or gamers in general. The amount of content in Baldur's Gate 3 is so insane, I'm surprised the developer didn't go bankrupt making it. 11 different races, 12 different classes, and over 600 different spells. The narrative might not be the best, but the freedom that it gives you to change and morph it around your character makes it so engaging. It feels like every single conversation could go 20 different ways. I kept wanting to redo conversations to see all the different paths. The combat is very difficult to the point where I spent maybe 5 hours just quick loading the same boss battle over and over again to be able to beat it. The world focuses on being deep instead of wide. Some random house in Skyrim will just be empty, but a building in Baldur's Gate 3 might have an elaborate murder mystery inside. Baldur's Gate 3 is the culmination of 20 years of CRPG design, and might quite literally be Game of the Decade. Well, that brings us to the end of this year's Bazaymas. Bazaymas will return in 2024, but for now, please have a Feliz Bazaydad.
I wanna wish you a Merry
Bazamus.
I wanna wish you a Merry
Bazamus.
I wanna wish you a Merry
Bazamus.
from the bottom of my heart. Feliz
Bazaydad.